Hi class, happy Thanksgiving. I just wanted to give you a few tips and a little more information about one of the assignments that's coming up. So let's talk about the presentation that's due. So you'll scroll down here um, to the chapter 2 task. You've already done the literature matrix, the reverse outline, and now here we have the literature presentation. So if you click on that, you have a rubric that will guide what you need to include in the presentation. So you can see it's worth 40 points, 25 points are to the annotations, 10 points are to the selection of literature, and then 5 points is to the APA formatting. So the presentation can be one of two things. One, you can do a Zoom recording just like I'm doing now and share the link over here in the discussion forum. So I've added a chapter 2 presentation. Oh, excuse me. A chapter 2 presentation thread here. Here's a little description. Of course, you can just add your link down there. Make sure that the link is accessible and so that we can watch it. And if we have time, comment on there. If you do not want to record your video in advance and post it here, then the expectation is that you will do the kind of live in-class presentation when we meet on December 9th. So you can do either one. I think there's pros and cons to both. One is if you do it in person, you can get immediate, verbal feedback, questions, that sort of thing from your classmates and me. You also don't have to do anything in advance, but that also means that you will need to do you'll need to be ready to go in class, right? If you do it in advance, then you'll be done. We won't have as long of a class meeting on Thursday the 9th, but you might not get that feedback from your peers. So this kind of presentation, it should be with a PowerPoint, right? You need to be walking us through all of chapter 2. So you can see the rubric here is about the literature, but what I want you to include, this is important here, what I want you to include is not only the literature you're including, and make that argument to us as if we are an audience and do not know the literature or your research questions or your approach to your study. But I also want you to justify the literature that you're including. So as you are referencing one of the main works in your topic, tell us why that's the main work. Tell us why that's important. And maybe you also want to link that into your theory of change, or how you're going to address that with your, how it's included in your driver diagram, how that's important to your chapter 2 and your dissertation overall. Okay, so that's what's expected for the presentation. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, this is due either in class live presentation on the 9th, or it must be submitted to the discussion again over here prior to our class meeting. There really is not an opportunity to turn this in late. I won't accept a late posting for this, so keep that in mind. Let me know if you have any other questions. Email me. And just one final note, make sure to schedule any final one-on-ones so that we can get those participation points. And also, of course, the content, any additional feedback you might need from me about getting ready to submit your chapter 2. That's, of course, the final assignment for this class. This should not be a surprise. Revise chapter 1, but the grading will be mostly focused on chapter 2. You actually won't need to worry about chapter 3. We can ignore that. But this is due top to bottom, right? Chapter 2, use that template, keep building from your literature matrix, and make sure this is fully complete by the time it's due. All right, thanks so much. Let me know if you have any questions. And I will see you in December. Have a great Thanksgiving.